Hi and welcome to this video where we'll go into testing. So going first into the browser, we have here in my repository in the README we see that in the setup for this video or for this lecture we need to go in and install a package called dbt expectation. So let's go into here. So this is the dbt documentation, and going through here we need to add this into our packages.yaml, and then we need to run dbt deps. So going back here, and also something to explain about dbt expectations. So it's based on, so I clicked on this link to get into the documentation, which is in GitHub. And this is kind of, it says it's a portage of Great Expectations to dbt test macros. And Great Expectations, they have a lot of tests for data. And here we have tests for dbt, so it's super good. So you can go down here and see that, yeah, this is how you install it. And also here are the available tests. So you can go into one of the tests and then you can see how to use it. So here's quite good documentation to find the test that you want to test the data in order for you not to reinvent the wheel. And if this does not suffice, and also the tests that dbt provides by default, if they don't suffice, then you can create custom tests. But before that, take a look at what dbt offers and what dbt expectations offers. So going to Visual Studio Code now. So we copied this, and I also created a new folder here, but you can continue with your old one if you don't want to copy it and separate it, because basically we're working with the same code. So in dbt code, we go into packages.yaml, and here we see that we have dbt labs already. So I'll paste this in, and we remove these packages here as we already have dbt labs. We have packages, and then we have several packages, right? So if you want more packages, you continue to copy. So basically I'm in, I will clear the terminal ls, I'm in or print working directory, I'm in dbt code folder, and here I do dbt deps in order to install this package. So here I've installed dbt expectations. I will try to do dbt run and see if my models still work, as I've copied it, copied the whole folder. Okay, it works. So now it's time for us to develop the tests. So you might think it's in the test folder. It's actually not, because here you have the custom tests. And we'll do the test in models. So in models, we have schema.yaml. Let's go in there. And the schema.yaml, let's do this. We have models, we define it here. And we have name, let me see, which model. So I'll start with dim employer. And for dim employer, we have different columns, right? So columns, and in this column we have different names. So here you should take a look at the columns which we created and what type of test there should be. So for example, I see that I can go into my job ads. We see in dim employer, we have employer ID. It shouldn't be an integer. This is a typo. This should be a string, as it is the surrogate key which we generated, right? So it's a hash value. But however, it is a primary key, and a primary key needs to be unique, and it needs to be not null. So that is the condition. So let's do it like this. We have employer ID, and for employer ID we add some data tests. We have unique, and we have not null. So basically here I do a tab, and for making this I make 2 spaces in order to indent this YAML file. So then here we test the employer ID column so that it's unique and not null. So let's try to run this dbt test. And when I do this, we see that we have 2 tests. We have one that is testing not null, and we have another that is testing that it's unique. So as simple as that, we have made data tests. So you see that it's quite powerful in dbt for testing. So let's continue. I'll take name, workplace, city, data tests. I want to have not null. So workplace city can be, it doesn't have to be unique, but it needs to be not null. And remember that it was null in the beginning, and we had a lot of null values, but we filled them in with stad ej specificerat, right? And also if you want to, you can make more custom tests to see that yeah, they have stad ej specificerat, and you can custom test like the first character is a capital letter and the other ones are lowercase. Because in order for us to test the macro that we did, right? So that is a possibility, and but I won't go through that. I will just go through the simple tests. So here, not null. I'll do dbt test again. Now we have 3 data tests. Great, it works. All of them passed. So let's continue here. And we can add more tests, but here I will say add to do for the reader is add more tests. So I won't give away all the fun, I won't take all the fun from you. I want you to implement yourself so that you also get to do something fun. So let's go into name. Let's do another one here. Din job details. And similarly here, I want to have columns name, job details, ID. And similarly here, data tests. It should be not null. It should be unique. And we have, let's see, we have, so we have a name here. We have the next column. So name again. We have here headline. And the data test here. Data tests. Not null. Like this. Yes, so the headline shouldn't be null. The primary key, that is the job details, it shouldn't be null, and it should be unique as well. And similarly here, you continue to make more tests. And now comes somewhat interesting, or this is also interesting, but we go into the fact job ads. Okay, remember that. Okay, we'll go into columns first, and name job details key. Remember that we tried to manually test in order to see that it corresponds, right? Manually test the relationship between, so that we have a foreign key relationship between job details and a job details key and the job details ID inside of dimension job details. So what we did was we inspected the different columns to see that the sum of them was correct. However, there is a test for that. And to do that, so we have this job details key, right? So data tests, and it's a relationship. So relationships. And this is quite good. It's quite easy to read YAML files and quite easy to make the tests. It's plain English, basically. So two, we need to reference. So we are referencing dim job details. And in job details, we go into the field job details ID. And here you can see we benefit a lot by having quite good naming convention, so that it's quite easy to see like, oh, dim job details, we know it's the dimension that we're working with. And in this dimension, we have this job details ID. Oh, and we want to match it to against the key, right? So we want to see that the relationship is correct. So let's do a test here. So dbt test. Great, it ran through all the tests and it performed it, and it's completed successfully. So we have this foreign key relation. That's great. And to make sure that, or to test it out when it fails, so that we actually have a failing test as well. So I won't choose this one. Instead, I will go into, let's see, which, we're in job details, right? Job details dimension, job details. Let's take something else. Let's take headline, for example. Headline, like this. And I will do dbt test. So I expect this to fail. If it passes, then I'm surprised. Ah, great, it fails. And it's good that things are failing when it should fail, right? So I kind of mistyped. So this is a failure of the test because the test is wrong. But however, if I change the data in the model, for example, or somehow it's not matching, then it fails. It's also good so that we can capture it before it goes downstream to the business stakeholder and they think like there's something wrong with the data or make bad decisions based on wrong data. So let's check here. It says completed with one error, failure in this test. Okay, and then we can see, so it says got 67 results, configured to fail if not equals 0. So basically it has one that is not matching basically, and then it will fail. So then we know here that this field shouldn't be headline, it should instead be job details ID, and it will pass as before. Okay, great. And for the fact job ads, we have several more things to test. For example, the relevance. Actually, when we looked at the data, we could see that the relevance goes from 0 to 1. So you should inspect the data more if you haven't looked at it. So then we should test it. So name, relevant. It has data tests. And here, in order to do that, I will go into DBT expectation. So I will go back to the browser and I will go to DBT expectations. Let's see, DBT expectations. Here, the repository. And I will find the test. I will find expect columns, column values. You see here you can expect column values to be null or not null, etc. I want to expect column values to be between, right? Column values to be between. Here, sets and ranges. Expect column values to be between. Oh, actually here you can, for the uppercase example that I talked about before, you could do a string matching here, probably. Here you have regex, so it's quite flexible. You probably can test it out. Expect column values to be between. Okay, click on this one. This sounds promising. I like the naming convention. Here, okay, between 0 and 10. And this, it says tests, but you should write data underscore tests instead. Okay, so I copied this one. And this I don't need, so I just picked this one. Okay, so I pasted it in here, and we can see that the DBT tests. We want to go in the relevance. We want to check the min and the max value. So DBT test. We go through this. And you see that it passed. Perfect. And I will actually just copy and paste the rest of the code from the lecture note, and I will explain it. So here, I'll just do DBT test here to see that it works. Oh, I didn't save this one. So it's just 8 tests here. DBT test. Oh, yeah, 12 tests. Perfect. Okay, it works. So let's take a look here what we did. First of all, we had this test before, and in DBT expectations we can also find the column type so that it should be a float. And here that the quantile value, here this is a statistical test. I want the quantile values to be between 1 and 20. I used my own domain skills, plus I looked into the data just to see that we will never have so many vacancies. However, this is good to discuss with the stakeholders to find out that yeah, the actual we have never seen so high vacancies. For example, they say like, yeah, 10 is the most I've seen in 10 years. Okay, then if you put in 20, then it's should most probably not be more than 20. And you can do this with some certain quantile as well. So it says 99% of the time it will be between 1 and 20. So, and also you can do statistical tests if you have a lot of data to find out where the values should be, and do a constructed test based on that. But we haven't done that. And also here, later in this part, I wanted to see that, and if it happens that the maximum value turn out to be more than 20, I don't want to crash my pipeline. Instead, I wanted to send a warning so that I can find it out and see if I need to correct something, or so. This is, and also you can test if it's a number or not. So here are some tests from DBT expectations, which you can use quite easily. Just look into the documentation and find the test you want and test it out. So it's good to have comprehensive test suite in case the data changes upstream, and or in case you have unexpected values from the data, or the models changes, someone has changed the models, we need to make sure the model does what it's expecting to do. So it's very good to capture all the errors and bugs of the data before it goes downstream to the stakeholders, which as they are making the business decisions. So we don't want a business decision to be based on faulty data, because that will be very misleading and can be terrible for many parts. Yes, and thank you for watching this video, and this is the video about DBT testing. So see you in the next video. Bye.